Hello, I welcome you all to this wonderful lesson. This is chemistry, our last topic. When we are done with this particular topic, we are now going to go back to the first things that we covered. The good part with me is that even those people that were there when I was starting chemistry, teaching chemistry, once we start again, things are different. They will not be the same. Like I've been always telling you to say, I don't repeat the same thing. So when I start again teaching organic chemistry, the same way I've started, that is not how I'm going to be teaching it. I always teach things different ways and in different methods. That is the reason why I don't want you to master things. Same concept, you can ask me today, sir, what is chemistry? This definition I'm going to give you today will be different to the one I'm going to give you tomorrow, because me, I keep studying every day and I keep discovering new things on a daily basis. So my understanding is based on the information that I'm having. And that is the reason why I teach and make lessons on a daily basis. So I want you people to follow me clearly and attentively. If I ask you, what is organic chemistry? So quite all right, we understand that organic chemistry is just the study. We say that organic chemistry is a study of what? Is a study of carbon what? This is just a study of carbon compounds. So we say organic chemistry, this is a study of what? Organic compounds. But we get to have a lot of organic compounds. How can we know that we are talking about this? We say except what? Except some organic compounds. So we get to say except what? Carbonates. So carbonates, we get to remove them. Aside carbonates, we also remove carbon monoxide. So except what? Carbon monoxide. So we say except carbon monoxide. Also except carbon dioxide. As well as what? We also get to consider carbon what? Carbon disulfide. So we say carbon disulfide, like this. We get to consider a lot of things, I will say etc. But mainly we are just talking about what? Carbon compounds. So if I tell you what is organic chemistry, you are supposed to tell me, okay, organic chemistry is the study of carbon compounds except carbonates, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon disulfide, etc. There are quite a lot of them. So you discover that there are common terms that we get to use when we are studying organic chemistry. So I will say common terms that we are going to be encountering, common terms that you need to understand. One, when I talk of organic compound, when I say this is an organic compound, what do I mean? When I say this is an organic compound, what comes to your mind? So when I'm talking about an organic compound, you need to understand that these are compounds that get to contain what? We are talking about compounds. Compounds that contain what? That contain. So we are talking about compounds that will contain what? That will contain carbon. So these ones are going to contain what? Carbons. So they are going to contain carbon, but except what? Except these things that I mentioned there, except carbonates, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. So except these things, carbon what? Carbon dioxide, which is like this, etc. We get to remove them. So when I'm talking about organic compounds, I'm talking about compounds that will contain carbon, but except carbonates, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, we get to remove all these things. Then aside knowing what organic compounds are, you also need to understand what an hydrocarbon is. These are terms that you are going to be finding. I can ask you, what is an hydrocarbon? You get to be confused. Even as we study through these things, I want you to know them, understand them clearly. If questions are to come in an exam, you will be able to answer them. So what is an hydrocarbon? An hydrocarbon, we talk of a compound. We talk of a what? A compound that contain what? A compound that contain, so I'll say a compound that contains, or I will say another term that I can use, I will say that consists. So they get to consist of what? They get to consist of elements. So they consist of what? They consist of they consist of the elements, or they consist of the elements of what? I'll say consist of the elements carbon and hydrogen only. So you say only. This is an hydrocarbon. There is a key word here. I've said only. So don't just say an hydrocarbon is a compound that consists of elements carbon and hydrogen. I'll mark you wrong. That means that you've not gotten the concept. I've said only because we've got a lot of elements that will consist of what? Hydrogen and carbon. There are a lot. We may consider carboxylic acids. They get to have these two. But there is a key word, hydrogen and carbon only. So that is an hydrocarbon. So any compound that will contain these two, 1 and 2, these ones, just know that that is an hydrocarbon. That is an hydrocarbon. Another term that you are supposed to be knowing, another term that you need to understand is when we are talking about what? When we are talking about carboxylics, all those things, you are supposed to know them and you need to understand them. There is alkanos, but I'll discuss through them when we start looking at functional groups. I'll discuss through them so that you try to understand what I'm talking about. This is what you need to get. I want us to move forward and look at a series that we get to call a homologous what? Series. So what is a homologous series? So when we are talking about a homologous series, there is this particular series that we get to call the homologous what? Homologous series. What is the homologous series? The homologous series, we are talking about a family, is a what? This is just a family of similar what? A family of similar organic compounds. A family of similar organic compounds. So a family of similar organic what? Organic compounds. That is what you need to get. That is what we mean when we are talking about homologous series. So when I tell you this is the homologous series, or to which family of the homologous series do this compound belong to, there is families that we get to call homologous series. So you discover that each member in a family is called an homologo. So each member, you discover that I'm going to talk about families here, so you are going to understand them. You need to know that each what, you need to get that each member, so each member in a family, each member in a what? Each member in a family is called what? Each member in a family is called what? Is called, I'll say each member in a family, we get to call that member as the homologo. So I'll say homologo like this. This is a member that is in a family. So we are going to discuss through those families. You see them and understand them. Maybe some of you are talking about these families we get to have. Okay, me I'm Zuru, so I belong to the Zuru family. No, we are talking about organic families here, organic compounds, organic chemistry. So even this one has got certain families that belong to it, and you just need to make sure that you get them and understand them so well. So I want us to look at now the characteristics of what? The characteristics of the homologous series. Before we start mentioning those families, we look at the what? let us now look at what we are calling now the characteristics of the homologous series. So I go now to this part. I'm calling now the characteristics of the what? I'll say the characteristics of the what? Characteristics of the homologous series. Characteristics of the what? Homologous series. What are some of the characteristics that you have to get? What are some of the characteristics that you need to understand? I've made this particular video public because I want even those people that are not with me, that have not yet joined, maybe they can be interested in joining our lessons. So this video is public. I don't want to lie to you. So if you want to share it, you are permitted to share this one. We've started organic chemistry, and I saw it fit to make it public on YouTube. So this one is public. It's not like these videos that I get to share and I tell you they are private. This one is public and you can share it. Those of you under my lessons, you need to make sure that you are writing down everything that I'm teaching here. You are supposed to make sure that you are writing down. So one thing that you have to get here, one, you need to understand that the characteristic of the homologous series here. So you understand that members in this family, one of the characteristics is that these characteristics, they show what? They show, you need to understand that they show a gradual. So we say that they show a what? A gradual change. They get to show a gradual change in what? Physical. In physical state or physical properties. So they show a gradual change in physical what? In physical properties. This is one characteristic of the homologous series. So you say they show a gradual change in physical what? Physical properties, meaning they change from gas to liquid and solid as the carbon chain increases. Then the second one that you need to get, we may talk of members. So you discover that are members in the family. Members in the what? Members in the family have what? You need to get that have similar. They get to have similar what? Similar methods. Similar methods of preparation because they belong to the same family. If you belong to the Zulu family, you discover that we are going to know you by the last name. You can be Peter Zulu, Harrison Zulu, Happy Zulu, Beatrice Zulu, Monica Zulu. So we are able to know that, okay, these ones belong to this particular family. You are able to know that. Even if you belong to this other family, you discover that we are going to know that in your family you are going to have same surname, unless these other people that get to have different surnames, but in their tribe they mean the same. I know someone, the surname, the girl surname is Nakawara, and the brother is Simwanza. Yeah. So unless those ones get to have different surnames, but they mean the same. Just that this one is for this one and this one is for that one. But the Bembas and the people from the east, if you are Banda, all the family will have that surname. So we know, okay, these ones belong to that. Then we also need to understand the third one, that these members in the family. So when we are talking about our members in these families have what? Have similar what? Have similar. So we say they get to have similar what? Similar chemical properties. Similar chemical properties. So say they get to have similar chemical properties because of what? Because they have what? They have the same. They get to have the same what? The same functional group. I'm going to be talking about the functional group so that you may understand clearly. This is just an introduction. I'm just introducing this particular topic. This is an interesting topic. So after we are done with organic chemistry, we'll now start from the basics so that we try to understand. The fourth characteristic that you need to understand is that these ones, they are represented by the same or general molecular formula. Or what I can say is that so we say they do what? They have what? They have, or let me write it in this way so that I don't disturb you so much. So I'm going to say that, let me write it like this. I'll just say that members, so I'll say members in a family. So members in a what? Members in a family can be represented. They can be what? Members in a family can be represented. So I'll say members in a family can be what? Can be represented by the what? By the general molecular formula. By the general molecular formula. General what? Molecular formula. We've reached here. Some of you are even wondering, sir, this is the introduction. How can I know these things? These are not even that difficult. These are very simple things, and you just need to make sure that you are able to understand them clearly and attentively. So I'll be teaching you all these things, and you are going to know them, and you will be able to understand them clearly. So I want you to know how these things get to be and how they are. Even when you find a question in an exam, you will be able to know that, okay, this question is falling under this. This question is from this family. You will be able to know all those organic families that are there. So we now look at the last thing, which I'm calling now the functional groups. So I look at the what? I look at the functional groups that are there. So you need to understand these what? These functional groups. So we know that, okay, these ones, I've told you to say there is a point here. I said members have similar what? Similar chemical properties because they have the what? Same functional group. So meaning that members in the same family get to have similar chemical properties. So for example, we've got alkene and alkanes. So if a member from alkanes, let me say methane, propane, all those things get to have what? Similar chemical properties. But if I go to alkene, I can't get a member from the family of alkene and say they've got similar chemical properties when I get a member from what? Other family. So this now, what you are supposed to get when we are looking at these things now, we get to have families. So if I tell you what is a functional group, a functional group, this is a group which determines the chemical properties of organic families. So when I'm talking about functional group, I'm talking about a group. So this is a what? Is a group. Is a what? Is a group. Most of you just know it as, okay, this is a functional group. But you need to know that a functional group, this is a what? This is a group which determines. So this is a group which does what? Which determines. This is a group that will determines the what? The chemical properties. It will determine the chemical what? The chemical properties. It is going to determine the chemical what? The chemical properties of organic compounds. The chemical properties of organic what? Organic compounds. So it will determine the chemical properties of organic compounds. So if I tell you, what do we call a group which determines the chemical properties of organic compounds, you need to know that that is the what? The functional group. It is determining the chemical properties of what? Organic compounds. I guess you are writing down all these things that I'm explaining. And you need to make sure that immediately after this particular lesson, you study through this. Because the bad part with organic chemistry, when you miss out on one part, just know that where we are going here, you are going to face some challenges, because these ones, they build on concepts. So you need to make sure that you know everything that I'm teaching here, you are writing down, and you need to make sure that you study through. You've got some days that you, when are we going to have chemistry? You've got a day here. So you need to make sure that today you study, tomorrow you study. This is what you are supposed to do. Not whereby, okay, you pack the notes, you are not writing down the notes. Most of you get to have those things. That's a sign of laziness. And you know the consequences of being lazy. One, you find out that the notes are fully packed. You don't know where to start from. You look at the time, 1 month remaining before exams. You don't know any question on chemical bonding. You don't know the reactivity series, the metals and for non-metals. You don't know anything on allotropes, alloys, preparation of metals. You don't know all those things, and you check, you only have 1 month. You say, then you enter into panic. So the best time for you to do better, I'm not saying that when there is 1 month remaining you can't pass. You can, but for science, then you need to be studying. You sacrifice sleep, you make sure that you are studying intensively. Mathematics, I can tell, even in 2 weeks you can pass. Mathematics is so simple. So let us look at the organic compounds. I will say organic what? Organic family. So I'll look at a family here. Then I will be telling you the what? I'll be telling you now the functional group. So the functional what? The functional group. I will also tell you the functional group. Aside knowing this, I will also tell you the name. Name of the what? Name of functional group. I'll also be telling you the name of functional what? Functional group. So this is how we are going to move. So I'm talking about these 3 things. One, I'll start with alkanes. This is what I'm going to start with. I'll start with what? Alkanes. So you discover that alkanes, the functional group is like this. This is the functional group. Have you seen? This one is a functional what? Is a functional group. So you discover that these ones are single bonds. So we get to say that these are what? These are single covalent bonds. These are single what? Covalent bonds. That is the name of that functional group. We move to the second one. The second one is called alkenes. So alkenes, what is the functional group of these? They get to have double bonds. Have you seen? They have got double bonds. So these are what? These are called double covalent bonds. Double covalent what? Covalent bonds. This is for what? This is alkenes. We also have another family that we also get to call what? This one we get to call it alkenes. But this one, it doesn't come. I'm telling you things that do come. So I will tell you these ones. This one, even if you know it, you don't know it, nothing will be affected. But these ones, make sure you know them. This one, we won't talk about that so much. These ones get to have 3 bonds. So what do we call them? We call them triple covalent bonds. Triple covalent. So you write there, covalent what? Covalent bonds. We proceed. These are families. These are families. So if I write a chemical formula here, you need to know that, okay, if it is having single bonds, you need to know that, okay, it belongs to this particular family. We move to the fourth one. The fourth one, we get to call it alkanos. So this family is called what? Alkanos. The other name, we may call it as alcohol. So the other name is what? Alcohol. So alkanos and alcohols is just one and the same. They get to have a functional group OH. This is called an hydroxyl. Don't get me wrong here. Don't say this is an hydroxide. This is called an hydroxyl. So we say hydroxyl group. This is called hydroxyl what? hydroxyl group. It is an hydroxyl group. We've got now the next one that we get to call alkanorics. So they are also what we get to call alkanorics. Alkanorics, we also term them as what? Carboxylic acids. So we call them what? Carboxylic what? Acids. So alkanorics and carboxylic acids, they are just the same, just different with the names. They get to have a functional group of like this, the COOH like that. Or some people write it like this, C, then double bond there, then here we've got O, then there, like this, okay. And then H there, like this. Have you seen? So these are certain things that you need to get, certain things that you have to understand. What is the name of this? The name of this one, this is now called a carboxyl group. We get to call it a what? A carboxyl what? A carboxyl group. That is a name that is given to it. We get to call it a carboxyl group. So this is a what? This is a carboxyl group. So these are families that we are going to look at. We are going to understand. I will start with alkanes. Go to alkenes. I go to alkanos. I go to carboxylic acids. Once I teach these things, then we are done with the first part of organic chemistry. We will now start macromolecules, polymerization, those things. Then we are done with this. We go now from the start, the way to go, from the scratches there. So this is where we end from. I know this video is public, but if there is one that wants to start, or maybe your payment is due, you are already under my tuitions, the MTN number to use, you get cash. Make sure you hear the instructions so well. You say get cash. Get cash, the agent number is this one. This is the agent number. So this is the what? This is the agent number. This one. This is 0760324455. This is the agent number. And the MT Airtel, you also get cash. In other words, you withdraw on this code number, agent code 2007-6573. They are all registered under the name which is Harrison. The name is Harrison what? Harrison Zuru. So when you pay, you send me a screenshot of your payment. When you pay, you keep quiet. I want to know. It means that you've not paid. And once you pay today, tomorrow you send a screenshot, then you are trying to disturb us. Once you just make a payment, you drop a screenshot of your payment on my WhatsApp number. I guess you know my WhatsApp number. This is my WhatsApp number. This is the number I use. So this is my WhatsApp number. It is just like this, simple. This is my WhatsApp number. But those of you under my lessons, you know it. I've just given it because this is a public video and the people that are not with us can need this. Because once they pay, they need to text me to this number. So if you have not yet joined me, you want to start your tuitions with me in mathematics, science, RE, biology, mathematics, civic education, history. If you want tuitions in those subjects, we are here to help you. So these are my details. If you want to inquire more, this is my number. I'm not saying you drop a question, sir, how can you answer this question? No, this number is only if you want to pay, you want to register. So this is how we work. This is an academy. I get to have a lot of messages, people texting me, sir, this question, I'm running an academy. So if you want any help from me, you need to join our tuitions, our academy. This is Addisonite Online School of Tuitions. So make sure you follow instructions. And those of you whose payment have expired, make sure you pay. Like I told you, I don't communicate. We've increased the number and communicating to each one of you that your payment is done. that can't be possible. So if your payment is done, if you haven't communicated anything with me that, okay, sir, give me some 2 days, give me some 3 days, I'll pay you, it means that you want to learn for free, and the consequences of that, once we get hold of you, we remove you from the group. And in most cases, if we've seen that, okay, this person has stayed in the group for these days or weeks without paying, it means that you were stealing from us, and that we won't even end on a good note. So let's just make sure that we pay. You communicate, you pay, or you tell me, okay, I'll pay on this and such a date. Together, we are helping each other and we are improving this academy. Thank you so much.